First 48, Detective Marcel Walker and his team responded to the shooting murder of Marco Tyler. After fleeing the scene, the 911 caller said she knew the potential suspect as Smooth and gave them his address.
We can go to the front. They can go up the alley. They'll see us when we pull up.
To the top where the green truck is.
Right there.
Right here.
The team surrounds Smooth's house.
What you looking at, babe?
Cars on cars.com.
What's wrong with this one?
I just got promoted, so I'm looking for something more. Ciao.
Ciao.
2 million cars for 2 million possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next?
Trying to turn sales opportunities into closed deals? Then you know you have to respond to a ton of RFPs.
In the murder case of Marco Tyler, the 911 caller gave Birmingham Detective Marcel Walker and his team the address and nickname for the possible shooter, Smooth. Now, the team has his house surrounded.
Keep them while we can see them. You in the house with you? You know what's about the house?
The only man found at the house does not fit Smooth's description.
Where your cousin who? What they call you on the street?
I don't call him nothing.
What they call your cousin on the street?
Smooth.
Okay. What they call him that?
I guess he's smooth with the ladies. I guess.
Smooth with the ladies.
You gotta go with us. We don't talk to you, okay? Don't put yourself in something you may not be in, okay? All right.
Detectives take him to the station to help with the investigation.
That's my cousin right there.
That's his car right there.
Ain't y'all looking for him?
11th Avenue and Erie Street.
Alright, Tim, I'm coming to you. This next block up here, right here.
Patrol apprehends Smooth driving a red Impala.
This supposed to be our shooter here. That's Smooth right there. That's him.
The car pulled out the alley, and we got behind him. Looked like he wanted to run, but he pulled over and stopped.
We got it.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, sir.
Y'all coming on, man. No problem.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Go ahead and let him tow it. Go ahead and take him on to the admin building.
Yeah.
Police bring their potential suspect, Michael Smooth Talbert, to homicide.
See if I can get a mugshot. He got a felony warrant for burglary on him now. He got some warrants with the city also.
Why, hello, how you doing? How can I help? Okay.
Can I get up out these cuffs, man? I'm up in here. I ain't going nowhere.
We'll take the cuffs off, man, all right? You got a key?
I don't like being in no cuffs, man. I ain't got no reason even be in anything.
We just gonna jump right into it. Friday.
Went to work.
You went to work, and that's all you did.
Yeah, work. That's all I ever do.
You don't remember going to a store Friday?
A store?
Yes, sir.
You went to the store. White female sitting outside. You remember coming back? Got surveillance cameras all around the neighborhood. See you, get out, talk to her. Go in the store. Get back in the blue SUV. Plain as day.
Zamon, found stabbed in a park. Detective Fabio Sanchez discovered cuts on the face and hand of his suspect, Chino. Now, Sanchez confronts Chino.
Coño. Hace rato que no lo veo.
¿Cuánto tiempo? ¿Hace días?
Como 2 semanas atrás.
¿Tú te acuerdas por dónde estaba el lunes?
Yo me fui el sábado para la playa y regresé el martes.
¿Tú regresaste el lunes o martes?
El martes.
El martes.
Chino claims he was out of town the day of the murder.
¿Tú ves esta foto acá? Sí tengo un video de ti el lunes.
Sanchez shows Chino the surveillance photo taken from a gas station near the crime scene just hours before the murder.
Estuviste ahí. Esta foto que ves acá, ese eres tú.
¿Que el lunes yo estaba ahí? No, chico,
Sí.
no.
Ahí te tengo comprando a ti cerveza. El Natural Ice que te gusta a ti. No fuiste a tomar cerveza con la víctima.
El lunes no.
¿Cómo fue que te pasó eso en la cara?
Usted sabe lo que fue esto y esto. Que yo con mi borrachera caí frente al Bayside ahí. Frente al Bayside.
Eso no pasó cuando peleaste con la víctima.
No, chico, ¿qué peleaste? ¿Qué, men?
Tú quieres probar que tú no hiciste.
Dámelo.
¿Por qué no me das tu prueba de DNA para probar que tú no fuiste?
Hágame la prueba.
Sanchez takes Chino's DNA sample to compare with the blood collected at the crime scene.
You could tell right off the bat that he's lying. These guys are supposed to be friends. They always hang out together. He's not showing any emotion whatsoever.
After 4 hours of questioning, detectives are forced to let him go.
Well, we're just gonna have to wait on the physical evidence. I hate that.
So, you're moving on the plane. It's at Mackenzie Airfield. Logistics are as yet undecided.
And water just isn't enough.
But go in with a good supply of ammunition,
This is
armor,
Artemis
and maybe
Dunn.
even explosives. It's gonna get kind of heavy. Like I said before, the airfield is under Vagos control. They're using the plane to make trafficking runs across the border. That means it's already set up to take Reshkovsky out of the country. Limited radar visibility, plausible cover story. It's perfect. Don't let the fact that there are a bunch of angry drug dealers waiting for you affect how you go in, or actually do.
Thanksgiving Eve. What I've been told when I got the phone call.
Some more background on the Vagos. Okay. Globalized, multinational, decentralized criminal network. Their principal interest is in drug trafficking, but they've diversified into mid-level distribution, end-user sales, and trafficking other contraband. You get caught with a kilo of coke, they throw the book at you. You're caught with a quart of capybara semen, it's a slap on the wrist. And the market for large endangered rodent ejaculate is lucrative. Most of the Vagos upper management, shot callers if you like, are already incarcerated here in the States and throughout Central and Latin America. They run the network on cell phones and it's a relatively flat hierarchy at the top. So if you cut one head off, there's 6 more waiting to bite. Not that I want to dismantle any criminal networks, as you know, I'm a criminal myself. I just like to do my homework. Criminal homework. Prison Angle's gonna help us celebrate on Bolingbroke. It's not something that they would do, but it's the kind of thing the authorities believe that they would do, which is all that really matters. You get me? Okay.
Detectives allow Smooth's cousin into the interview room.
Just understand that you have to accept any responsibility that comes along with your actions. He made a split decision that's going to affect the rest of his life.
Okay, I'm reading you close to the airfield. Remember, once you engage these bastards, there's only
visits Marco Tyler's family.
Clear the airstrip before you think about taking that bird into the sky. If the plane gets shot up, we're back to
and let
Alpha.
you know that we caught the guy that did it. And we got it. Charlie be Captain Rook. You know, that's the highest charge in the state of Alabama.
Had one dog that he kept all ever since he was a little puppy.
Marco's cell phones are going loco, people. Expect more of them any second now. But remember, the mission is the plane.
Once again, I'm sorry for you all lost. I thank you all. Very kindly. Close this room, okay? All right.
I've never seen that like that.
A man found wrapped in a blanket and shot to death.
Yeah, balls to shoot somebody 5 times in the road.
Bring it to the airport and you're done.
The city of Atlanta is rocked with fear.
Tonight, police told us they were investigating 2 very similar murders.
When detectives learned their suspect may have killed before,
If they do another one tonight, we got a real
Task force better send us a thank you for this. Even more Vagos coming at you. Pilot, come in. Is there any cargo on the plane? Drugs, guns, wild animals? I guess if you're flying, you haven't been charged by a coked-up crash of rhinos.
for homicide detectives, their chance of solving the murder is cut in half if they don't get a lead within the first
What
30.
lesson can you take from this? Ain't the size of the dog in the fight. It's the amount and toxicity of the venom in the dog's sack. Yeah, unless the dog is really effing big, then you're screwed anyway. So, look out for creepy crawlies, and any drugs on that plane belong to me. Man, I love selling drugs. I am a criminal after all. My team's waiting at LSIA. Can we hurry this up, please? We need to clean this up quick, so leave the area as soon as you can head over the plane.
Day 3 after murdering something.
Whoa! Don't put that on camera.
It might seem logical to assume that only adults are capable of committing heinous crimes, but children can be equally susceptible to acts that shock and horrify. From a young murderer taunting a victim's family in court, to a killer couple boasting about their recent crime on YouTube, or even 2 brothers murdering their family members for internet fame, these young offenders have left an indelible mark. In this video, we'll explore some of the most disturbing cases of young criminals in U.S. prisons, detailing the shocking and tragic crimes that shocked the nation. We've got everything from Savona's most infamous kid to the horrifying case that shocked Jacksonville, so stay tuned. Number 9. Eric Smith, the young killer from Savona. Eric Smith's story became one of the most infamous cases in U.S. history, captivating the nation in 1993. On the morning of August 2nd, a seemingly normal day in Savona, New York, would forever be marred by an unthinkable tragedy. 13-year-old Eric Smith encountered 4-year-old Derek Roby, who was on his way to a local summer camp. Eric, with a sinister motive, convinced Derek to follow him to a nearby wooded area, claiming it was a shortcut. Once they were alone, Eric brutally attacked Derek, first strangling him to unconsciousness, then smashing a rock onto his head, and finally pouring Kool-Aid from Derek's lunchbox into his open wounds. Derek's mother, Doreen Roby, was devastated when her son did not arrive at camp as expected. As the hours passed, a search began, only for Derek's body to be found in the woods later that day, not far from the park. The town of Savona was gripped with fear, unsure of who could have committed such a horrific crime. The shock was compounded when, just a week later, Eric Smith confessed to his mother that he had killed Derek. He was arrested, tried as an adult, and became the youngest person ever to stand trial for murder in New York State at the time, despite no physical abnormalities being found in Eric's brain function or hormone levels. It became clear that his social struggles, including years of bullying and isolation, may have contributed to his violent outburst. In 1994, he was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to the maximum term for juvenile offenders, 9 years to life in prison. Eric Smith spent nearly 30 years behind bars, with his parole repeatedly denied. Despite his lengthy incarceration, Smith participated in rehabilitation programs and repeatedly expressed remorse for his actions. After several parole hearings, Eric Smith was finally granted parole in 2021 and released from prison. Joshua Phillips, the crime that shocked Jacksonville. Joshua Phillips's case is a grim reminder of how a young life can spiral into tragedy. Convicted of first-degree murder at just 15 years old, Phillips's crime showing no signs of the crime he had already committed. It wasn't until November 10th that Maddie's body was discovered, hidden under Joshua's bed. His mother had noticed a wet spot on the floor of his room, and upon further inspection, found Maddie's body hidden there. The shock was immediate, and Phillips was arrested shortly after. Later, he confessed to the murder, detailing the horrific events that led to the child's death. On that fateful day, Phillips had been playing baseball with Maddie, despite his parents being away. According to Phillips, he accidentally hit Maddie in the eye with the ball, causing a painful injury. Fearing the consequences of his father's strict alcoholic behavior, Phillips panicked and tried to silence Maddie by hitting her with a baseball bat. When that failed to stop her cries, he escalated the violence, stabbing her multiple times with Now in his 40s, Joshua Phillips remains incarcerated at the Cross City Correctional Institution, serving out a life sentence for the brutal murder of Maddie Clifton. His case remains a sobering reminder of the darkness that can sometimes take hold of young minds. Number 7. Beaver Brothers, the deadliest crime in Broken Arrow. The Beaver Brothers case stands as one of the most chilling acts of mass murder in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. On July 22, 2015, Robert, 18, and Michael, 16, executed a violent plan to murder their family members in their home. Their motive was driven by an insatiable desire for fame and notoriety. According to Detective Rihanna Russell, the brothers aimed to kill at least 50 people, desperate for media coverage and a Wikipedia page. They had carefully planned the massacre, amassing a collection of knives for the brutal task. The horrifying night began when Michael lured his sister into a bedroom under the guise of showing her something on the computer. Once inside, Robert ambushed her, slashing her throat and stabbing her multiple times. Their mother, April, was then brutally attacked by Robert, who inflicted at least 48 knife wounds, killing her instantly. The brothers continued their rampage, attacking their father, David, who endured 28 stabbings and blunt force trauma, and their 7-year-old brother, Christopher, who suffered 6 stab wounds. Their 18-year-old sister, Victoria, was next, stabbed 18 times in the neck, chest, and arms. In the midst of the chaos, Daniel, just 12 years old, managed to lock himself in a room and call 911. But Michael tricked him into opening the door, pretending to be a victim. Once inside, the brothers stabbed Daniel 9 times. Despite the brutal attack, Daniel's quick thinking played a crucial role in saving his 2 younger sisters, Autumn, 2, and Crystal, 13. The brothers fled the scene, but police soon tracked them down with the help of a canine unit, locating them in a wooded area nearby. Crystal Beaver, a survivor of the attack, identified her brothers as the perpetrators. Robert and Michael were charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of assault with intent to kill. They both pled not guilty, but in 2016 and 2018, they were convicted on all charges. Robert received a life sentence without parole, while Michael, due to his age, was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole, though his release is highly unlikely. Number 6. Heavenly Arroyo, a teenage murderer's cold heart. In a tragic case of teenage violence, Heavenly Arroyo, a 15-year-old girl, ended the life of 68-year-old Ana Vasquez Rodriguez in a brutal and shocking manner. The incident took place on October 6, 2019, at Arroyo's great-uncle's home in Fall River, Massachusetts. The tension in the household had been building for days, and when Arroyo's great-uncle, who was planning a trip to New York, was delayed due to car problems, it pushed Arroyo to a breaking point. Frustrated and agitated, she chose to take out her anger on Ana. Arroyo, who had been living in the house with Ana and her grandson, waited until the house was quiet and then attacked Ana while she lay in bed. Using a knife, she stabbed the elderly woman 70 times. The only other person in the house at the time was Ana's grandson, who was playing video games in another room, unaware of the horrific crime taking place just a few feet away. After the murder, Arroyo calmly took a shower, discarded her blood-stained clothes in a nearby dumpster, and then tried to cover up her crime by claiming that a masked man had entered the house and killed Ana. Her story began to unravel when security footage from the Fall River Housing Authority showed her disposing of the clothes, contradicting her earlier statement. Once arrested, Arroyo's demeanor shifted dramatically. In a court appearance, she shockingly smiled and flipped her hair, showing no remorse for her actions. In 2023, Arroyo, now 18, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in Fall River Superior Court. Judge Rene Dupuis sentenced her to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 19 years. Number 5. Sierra Halseth, a teenager's murderous plot with her boyfriend. In a disturbing case of teenage rebellion and murder, 16-year-old Sierra Halseth and her 18-year-old boyfriend, Aaron Guerrero, executed a gruesome and calculated murder. The victim was Sierra's father, Daniel Halseth, who had been involved in a contentious custody battle with Sierra's mother, Elizabeth Helgelian. Sierra and Aaron's relationship was short-lived but filled with tension, and when their parents found out they planned to run away to Los Angeles, their relationship ended.
You're not just building a business, you're building a legacy. Busy is made by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. We understand your journey. Get the services you need to grow without the hassle or cost.
If you're one of the 70% of adults struggling with their weight, the problem isn't you. It's your healthcare.
On April 8, 2021, the young couple purchased a circular saw blades, bleach, lighter fluid, gloves, and a drop cloth, preparing for the murder. The next day, Daniel Halseth's mutilated body was discovered in his garage. The autopsy revealed he had suffered over 70 stab wounds to his head, neck, and torso. In an attempt to hide their crime, the couple stuffed his remains into a sleeping bag and set them on fire, leaving his body unrecognizable. After the murder, Sierra and Aaron recorded a video for YouTube where Aaron announced they were free and enjoying their new life. However, their run from justice was short-lived. Authorities apprehended them in Salt Lake City shortly after the video went public. On May 26, 2022, Sierra and Aaron pled guilty to multiple charges, including murder, arson, and robbery. Both were sentenced to 22 years to life in prison with the possibility of parole. At their sentencing, Sierra did not express any remorse, while Aaron offered an apology. Their shocking crime and complete lack of regret shocked everyone. Time for the fancy topic. In a shocking and unsettling turn of events, a young boy named Jason, aged only 14, has become one of the most feared figures in a high-security adult prison. Known for his cold demeanor and terrifying reputation, Jason's journey to the prison system has left prison staff, law enforcement, and inmates alike shaken to the core. This case is one that no one could have anticipated. How could a child, still in his early teens, instill fear into some of the most hardened criminals in the United States? This is the most feared kid in U.S. prison. Jason's backstory is filled with violence and trauma. Raised in a broken home and surrounded by crime, he quickly developed a dangerous temper. It was in his early teens when he was first arrested for violent crimes, which included assaults and robberies. His notorious actions were enough to lead authorities to classify him as a juvenile delinquent, though it was clear from the start that his issues went much deeper than typical behavioral problems. His violent outbursts seemed almost premeditated, and as late in his crimes, it became apparent that traditional juvenile detention facilities were no longer enough to contain him. At 14, his violent tendencies had reached a point where the authorities decided it was time to place him in an adult facility. No one knew exactly what to expect when he arrived, but what followed has left many questioning the safety of the prison system. From the moment Jason stepped into the high-security prison, it was clear that he was not like the other inmates. Despite his small size and youthful appearance, his presence alone seemed to intimidate even the most hardened criminals. Prison guards reported that he had an unnerving ability to stay calm in situations that would provoke most adults. His cold, calculating gaze was enough to make even the toughest men feel uneasy. Jason's tattoos, which appeared far too soon for a boy his age, only added to the air of menace he exuded. The designs, eerie and symbolic, marked him as someone who had lived a life far beyond his years. His reputation grew quickly, and soon even the most dangerous of adult prisoners feared him. Inmates who were once considered the toughest in the prison found themselves avoiding eye contact with him, and rumors began to spread of his ability to manipulate situations to his advantage. Encounters involving Jason, though the details remain unclear, even the guards who are trained to handle dangerous situations find themselves wary of him. They have stated that while they attempt to maintain control, there is something unnerving about Jason that makes him hard to contain. Many believe his future holds even more danger. How did such a young child become such a terrifying force in an adult prison? What drives Jason, and what is it that makes him so dangerous? These questions continue to loom over his story. Figure out what the future holds for this frightening young man. Do you think Jason's violent behavior could have been prevented? How do you think the prison system should handle young offenders with extreme tendencies like his? Let us know in the comments with the hashtag #FancyTopic. Number 4. Roxana Sikorsky, a teen's dark plan to kill her family. Roxana Sikorsky, a 15-year-old girl from Plymouth, Michigan, became involved in a twisted plot to murder her family under the influence of her much older boyfriend, Michael Rivera. Roxana had been adopted from Poland at the age of 4, and her troubled childhood, marked by abuse, led to her diagnosis. Made Roxana, especially by an older, persuasive figure like Rivera.